Is Bitcoin going to crash? Well, I think crash is a stupid term and pullbacks are more or less inevitable. But in today's video, I thought I'd break down Bitcoin a little bit further because I do think we are a little bit overvalued at this time and at this point. So, that interests you, stick around. I love Bitcoin. I'm still bullish on Bitcoin and probably always will be. So, let's take a look at Bitcoin. So currently, as of today, here on January 15th, Bitcoin finally crushed back to the $100,000 price tag, of course, being a little bit under here at the time of recording. However, looking at a graph and just going off past years, we are a little bit overvalued in retrospect to following a moving average, and that blue line here indicates a 180-day moving average, which gives us a good indicator, like we see in many ETFs, which I know Bitcoin is not an ETF, but follow a similar suit and pattern because patterns tend to repeat themselves. So back in here in 2020, we saw a big crypto boom here, ironically, during kind of COVID era. However, we saw prices escalate from Bitcoin dramatically from 20,000 sub 20,000s to high as around I think 55 $60,000. Now you could see as we moved away from those average moving line here of 180 days, we saw this kind of get brought back down to reality, proving Bitcoin was overpriced for at that time frame. Now, if you translate that and over the next year and a half in a kind of more stable economic time frame, a little bit more on the bearish side in 2022, the price point of Bitcoin followed right along and continued to move along this average, this at MAC 180-day average line. Now, here we are in 2025, and we are very far, almost double of the 50,000 price point of this average line. Don't get me wrong, this moving average here is not indicating that we're supposed to be at this point all times. It is simply, again, an indicator like many of the other indicators there out here on the market. Now, with that also being said, at $45,000, I feel many are going to be buying, but how many buyers and investors out there priced in at, MSTR is a great example of over $70,000 average coin prices. I simply believe that many out there, and it's clear at tracking Bitcoin, have overpaid, at the $100,000 price tag in fear. And as the market ticks from greed to extreme fear, that is a great indicator that Bitcoin is also potentially overbought at these levels. Now, will that always be the same? No, I think 100,000 is probably cheap for Bitcoin in the years to come. But at this given point in time, I think there's much room to give back. And with that being said, I'm definitely holding out on my positions before moving forward to buying more Bitcoin. Of course, I love buying Bitcoin. I do dollar cost average every single day, just a small portion. However, when there is massive swings and or dips at good time points, I like to buy a lot more. I think it just makes a little bit more sense for myself. But anyways, here was a graph that I found over on Cointelegraph. Not really reading into this article at all means. I just thought the graph was pretty interesting and how people are buying the dips, as they quote unquote say. However, looking at this time frame a little bit more, you could see we've entered more or less of a lower highs period, especially in the short time frame after we peaked out at this price range of 105, 106, 107, 108,000, somewhere in that time frame. We've seen Bitcoin get knocked back down time and time out, now hitting 102, now hitting 100, and it looks like it's getting beat back down. But again, this analysis, it's always subjective, right? Day swings are not always the greatest indicator, but looking at Bitcoin as a whole, I think is a little bit better in the price analysis. Now, looking at the max value of Bitcoin over since its inception back in 2009, I guess this graph only shows since 2016. In the case following the stock market, also the stock market only goes up, and that's been absolutely true as an entire fund, right? And it looks like Bitcoin also has been following suit, as has only been appreciating as an appreciating asset. So with that being said, keep that in mind. Don't play into the news and headlights reel. Continue to do what you guys do best and continue to invest in these. But I, for one, do think Bitcoin will be potentially a big, large pullback here in 2025. as we exit the bull run of crypto. It's just natural, it's just timely, and it is about time we see those pullbacks. Now, in the long run, I will say buying Bitcoin, if you don't really care, you're holding for the next 30, 50 years, I don't think it matters too much, as I think the prices will continue to rise. But if you want to see more on my price analysis, let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to make that video. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed today's breakdown, and if you guys want to talk more about Bitcoin and or any other concern, drop a comment and subscribe if you are new, as we make our journey to 100,000 subscribers like one of my other channels. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up. Love you guys. Hope you have an amazing rest of the day. I'm Kusto, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.